Evening, everyone. We're going to call the zoning hearing board meeting to order. Our first order of business is appeal number 21-1914. The applicant has requested a continuance to November 16th of 2021 and waives all the deadlines to hear the case, right?
Correct. And Jim Majewski spoke with him earlier to nail down a good date. And that seemed to be the one that fits the most and gives them the opportunity to finish everything he needs to finish.
Okay, can I have a motion to continue the appeal?
Are you using your microphone?
Thank you. Sorry. Is this nailed down? Because he started this in April and that was a mess and it's been continued ever since, if I remember correctly.
I think you remember absolutely correctly.
Okay.
When I spoke to Mr. Jennings a few days ago, we went over what he was planning to do. So he's getting a wetlands consultant to go ahead and get that information. Here in Echo. And he anticipates he should have that within a month. So we made it 2 months from now so that he has extra time. So there's really no reason why he can't be at the meeting on November 16th.
And he's trying to answer questions or concerns that the county had by getting a wetlands consultant, right?
Not the county, I believe it was
Not the county,
some
I meant
people
the
who were,
township. Right.
yeah. So residents that have raised some issues, he's responding to their stuff by hiring a consultant and consulting with an attorney to advise him on his application moving forward.
Okay.
I guess.
I also know he did speak with an attorney. That was one, it's on. He did speak with an attorney because that attorney contacted me about a week ago to find out the status of the case. So
Okay.
I suspect he's going to hire one. But I did talk to an attorney.
I would hope he would.
All right, can I get a motion?
Make a motion to continue appeal 21-1914 to November 16th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Okay, appeal number 21-1926, Jennifer Schneiderman and Brian Pepe. All right, you want to come up and be sworn in, and Mr. Flager will identify the exhibits for the record. You can have a seat. I know.
If you like, you can grab the other one.
Nathan.
All right, I'll mark the exhibits in the meantime. We have the application as A1, the site plan as A2. Proof of publication is B1, proof of posting B2, and B3 is the notice to the neighbors.
Can you swear them in, please?
I do.
And I know the computer's blocking you. We're having technical difficulties, so we're just, yes, thank you. And that's better because then we can see each other, right? All right, why don't you tell us what you're looking to do? And then if you'd like to bring in your contractor, I think you said.
Sure. As far as I understand. Thank you. So as far as I understand, we're putting in a pool, and to compensate for impervious coverage, we need a drainage ditch. I believe the plans for the ditch are already included to the submission to the town. So we just need Nathan to chime in right there.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, I think we need you sworn in real quick, okay?
Sure.
Sir, do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give will be the true self of God?
Yes, I do.
Tell me your name, sir.
Can you tell us your name for the record and spell your last name?
Yeah, my name's Nathan Simcox from Hydroscape Pools. I'm the applicant. I put in the variance for the zoning.
Okay, you want to tell us what you're looking to do?
Yeah, we're just looking to install a fiberglass pool, but the variance is for the impervious for the overage on the pool decking that they are looking to put around the new pool. So we're just looking to put in an infiltration trench to compensate for the stormwater.
And what are the numbers we're talking about here?
I think we're going from 18 to 22. I got it on this other phone. 18 to 22.3, if I believe that's what I last looked at. 22.36, yes. So it looks like a 4.36 increase.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Jim, did you review the numbers? Everything worked?
Yes, and they are accurate.
And the infiltration trench takes it back to 18% effective?
It takes it to actually slightly below what's currently existing, which I believe is 17.87.
Is there any public comment? Yes? Okay. Do you want to come up and grab the microphone and tell us your name and where you live? And you can go, yep, right up there. Yep. Mhm.
Good evening. My name is Rich Bruno. I live right next door, and I'm here really just to see the plan. We didn't really know what the plan was.
Yes, we
Oh,
need
yeah.
you to be sworn in.
I do. Richard Bruno. So
Give your address too.
234 Emerald Drive. I'm just on the, I guess, west side, right beside this property. Emerald? Yeah. So, yeah, my main concern, I guess, is drainage. I can appreciate the seepage pond or whatever that they're putting in for the additional impervious surface. But my concern is there's on the plan, there's a very small notation about an existing yard drain. And it's just a little square on there on like the left side of the house. I have the same exact drain in my yard, and I don't think the plan emphasizes how important that drain is today prior to putting in this pool and the additional seepage drain. I have a picture of what my yard looks like when that drain gets a few leaves in it. I mean, I have feet of water in, and we've had flooding in our basement. I would just like to see that drain that's not really detailed. It's a 4-inch PVC drain that goes all the way out to the street and gets rid of a lot of water from the backyards of I don't know how many properties in our development have this same drain, but it's critical. I would just like to see that as part of this plan. I'm afraid that when the heavy equipment comes in to put this pool in, it might destroy this drain, quite frankly, and it's going to create major problems, for my property. I also have a picture here. This is after just a very light rainstorm. This is the sidewalk between the two properties. This is not like a Hurricane Ida or anything. This is just a very light rain. And this water freezes in the wintertime. I mean, it creates, problems throughout the year. And anyway, my emphasis is just on that existing drain. I don't know why there are no details about it. My zoning file here with Lower Makefield has details about my drain. I don't know why this plot plan doesn't have any details about that drain. And like I said, I just want that to be included in this plan because today, that's the most important thing in the yard, given a lot of those drains are, 30 years old. They've got sediment and stuff in them. I don't know many neighbors that haven't had to either, hire landscapers to regrade, or, some of them have gotten clogged and they've had to rerun the drains and everything. And anyway, that's my main concern.
So To paraphrase, just so it's easier for us to put it in the notes, you just want to make sure that that drain is maintained and protected during the construction process.
And that it's there at the end of the construction process. Yeah, yeah.
It is
Otherwise,
shown on,
It
it is shown.
shown. You didn't have any intention of removing that drain, correct?
but it does, it ties into this, the sewer line. It goes all the way out to the street. I think it's mine is at least like a 4-inch PVC that goes all the way.
Okay.
So, all right.
Thank you.
All right.
So just to recap, is if we do, sir, Mr. Bruno, if the board is inclined to make a motion approving their plan, so long as the motion includes a parameter that they not damage this, protect and maintain the drain, then you would be okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an engineer as far as all the other stuff. I mean, I looked at the plan. I mean, with the microscope, it's pretty small. You said you did all the math on it. I mean, it seems like the seepage area can handle all the impervious, all the runoff that the new impervious surface will handle. I guess I trust you guys on that if that meets all that. The other question I did have was which direction is the pool deck going to be pitched? Is it going to be pitched towards the seepage pond, or, I think that's kind of important. If that decking around the pool is not slanted towards the seepage, then I mean, it's still going to create problems. And,
The plan shows it pitched back towards the seepage bed.
does it show that? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Simcox?
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, there's somebody else? You could just state your name and address,
Anthony Manorino, 222 Emerald Drive.
and if
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I swear. Mannarino. You're welcome. So similar to Rich, I just want to share some history of my property, which I think is relevant to this conversation. So I'm the second owner of the home. And when my home was built, and I did get this from the previous owner, so I don't have any paperwork associated with this first thing I'm going to mention, but when my house was first built and I am on the other side of Rich Bruno, by the way, 222, 228, and then Rich. So I am talking specifically about the side of my house that faces where the pool is going to be. When they were backfilling my home, my foundation back in the late 80s, the ground was so wet that the heavy equipment they were using crashed into the cinder block foundation and took out part of that foundation. Engineers were called in at that time, and a second foundation wall was determined to be needed to reinforce the first one. Now, having been there for almost 20 years, that does not surprise me because there's a noted pitch in the land between the Snyderman house and my house. And for example, when the remnants of Hurricane Ida come through, or there's any type of heavy rainfall like that, that side of my house is a lake. There is a drain there, which you'll see on the plans. You'll also see on the plans 3 trees in front of that drain, which are leading towards the street. Those are river birch trees that were planted by the previous owner for the sole purpose of absorbing as much water out of the ground as possible. Couple that with the fact that when we do get heavy rain, my sump pit empties every 60 seconds. It is on also that side of the house. And the last thing I'd mention is that there's been a ton of trees and a ton of brush removed from their yard back in June. I don't know what that means from a water absorption standpoint. And I'm not an engineer, and I'm not evaluating this from an engineer standpoint, but water has been an issue since the house was built. I have extra wide downspouts on my house, And I do not support anything that's going to bring 1 additional ounce of water towards my house because I have enough issues with it as it is.
Where were the trees? Can I ask you where the trees were removed?
She's asking if you know where in the yard the.
Throughout the backyard. And
I'm
the,
asking the owner.
oh, okay.
They were removed from our backyard,
How many trees were removed?
approximately 7 with some brush.
Not some brush, almost all of the brush.
Okay, and were the trees removed from where the proposed pool is going to be?
No,
It was, yeah. The trees were removed for where the pool was going to be to allow equipment to come in and to allow a fence to come in for the pool.
Mr. Simcox, is it?
That's correct. Yep.
Are the removed trees shaded on your, are they indicated on your site plan?
Let me check it. That I am not positive which ones were removed off the plan previous to, I think the plan was done before they were removed.
Can you indicate, I'm asking the homeowners, can you indicate, so we have the plan up here on the large screen. Can you tell us which trees and brush were removed? Okay.
There might be there's faint tree outlines on there.
Yeah.
And Jim's going over there to help you with this.
Yeah.
The question is, are those the ones that were removed?
So how many trees are remaining in your backyard?
About
right.
4.
4, okay.
That there's are the trees that are marked on the drawing that are the darker shade, are those the ones that remained? Okay.
Are they still there?
Yeah, you see where my cursor is? These are still here. The ones in the back. And the few on the side over here. So there are a number of trees still remaining on your property. Okay.
One of the things that the board is inclined to do, this board, I should say, prefers the infiltration trench. We are not fans of applicants putting in trees for this very, as a method for bringing the effective impervious rate down. The reason is because trees die, subsequent owners take down trees.
Sure.
So this board prefers the infiltrate, the trenches that we see here.
That makes sense.
And because, it lasts long as the upkeep it
Mhm.
have to do. So the plans that are submitted are going to, the effective impervious rates impervious surface, will actually be lower than what it is now.
And like Rich said, I do trust the board's judgment. Not being an engineer and being able to, I know what my house looked like when Ida came through. So, I am concerned with any chance that that water mitigation plan is not top notch. And that's why I'm here.
Okay.
And I appreciate your letting me speak.
Of course. Thank you. There's one more, sorry. I just wanted to address would you guys be willing to plant an additional 5 trees?
We do have plans that we want to plant trees and shrubbery in the future once the pool's in, the fence is in, and we get a better plan of what our backyard will look like.
Okay. Okay.
May I piggyback on that? So just to reinforce what she said, this is like phase 1, remove trees, make room, dig the infiltration trench, and then we'd like to put more trees back in our backyard.
Okay.
Mainly for privacy, but a redundancy for water drainage as well.
Okay. And I think we have one other public comment. If we could ask you to state your name and your
Sure.
address, and then we'll have you sworn in.
Okay, I'm Deborah Caston. I live at 216 Emerald Drive, immediately to the side of Anthony Manarino. Yes, I do. Caston, Kasten. I just was here to reinforce what's been said earlier, and I'm an original property owner in that development. I've been there for 35 years, and I can speak to all the drainage issues and all the pooling of the water and everything that occurs. And I ask that there's recognition that the storms have just gotten more violent, particularly this past year. So we not only know historically what happens, but we're faced with increasing volumes of water. We live on Doylestown clay, which if anyone, I'm sure you're familiar with what that means. It's concrete. Water does not seep into the soil. It either pools or it runs off. And Anthony talked about the river birch that were planted to help ameliorate the situation. I also have them at my property, and I can tell you that we had a clump of them removed because they were too big and infringing on my neighbor's property. And I now have pooling water in that spot where they used to be because they really served their purpose. And when we hear about trees being removed from the property, we're talking trees like Big Oak Woods, because we're on the other side of Big Oak Road from Big Oak Woods. We're Big Oak Woods extended. So when you hear that 7 trees have been removed, we're talking 100-foot trees. And you think about what the uptake of water is from those type of trees, it's significant. So not only is there a request for variance for impervious surface reasons, but these trees have been taken away, and who knows what the impact will be in the future. I live downhill from the property seeking the variance. Water flows downhill, and the pictures that you've seen are very accurate. The swale that exists between the Manarino property and my own gets dug up constantly because it's wet all the time. We have lawn people who come to maintain it. They cut it with a weed whacker because you simply cannot take a lawnmower across it without tearing it up. So I simply request that a very, very serious consideration be given to exactly what it means to maintain good drainage in this property and in that area, because it's definitely a problem. Some pumps run all the time. We have patios on sand. We've done everything over the years to try to make it as best as we could, given the conditions that were given. And we just want to make sure that that at least is maintained and not degraded in any way. Thank you.
Thank you. Cox, can the infiltration trench be made larger?
Sure, yeah, I mean, certainly, you can make, there's plenty of space on the property if the infiltration trench, would, need to be bigger. Yes, definitely. It's not, I don't believe when I look at I'd have to check the drawing to see what the specs are on this one here. I don't know if I got it from Jim or that up. I think it's taken down. Cause I could, but yeah, I mean, it certainly could be made bigger.
I mean, I would prefer that to planting extra trees. I don't know how the rest of the board feels.
I mean, are we still under the allowable?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Are we still under the allowable at being at 17 point, whatever percent that it puts us at now?
Yeah, you're below the allowable. It's just that some of the current water absorption with the trees being removed is an impact. It's what the neighbors are talking about.
I'm okay with trees requiring.
They're providing an infiltration trust to cover the pool. I think 5 replacement trees to cover the trees that were cut down as personal.
I think so. What do you think? Okay, you want to make a motion?
Make a motion.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve Appeal 21-1926 to increase impervious to 22.36%, subject to an infiltration trench to return it to a 17.87%, as well as plant 5 trees to replace existing trees that were removed prior to construction, and to preserve the inlet located to the west of the existing structure, and to protect it and maintain it during construction.
You want a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Oh, any discussion, excuse me.
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do you understand the requirements that we put on it?
Yeah, we'll add 5 trees and, maintain the, drainage to the west of it. And, we'll obviously incorporate the infiltration trench as proposed into our application of the project.
Okay.
And
All right.
if I may ask, if you can just show that existing line on the west side of the property with that note about preserving that during construction, so that contractors are aware, I'd appreciate that.
Do update the topographical.
Yes, and also to show the trees to be planted, just a general location.
All right, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, appeal number 21-1927. James Moak.
Is he online? No.
Bye.
Skip him and move on.
Okay, we will skip we'll skip that appeal for now. Appeal number 21-1928, Warren Perry, how do I pronounce your name? Parry, okay. Okay, if you can state your name for the record and be sworn in.
Warren Perry. I do.
Mr. Flaker's going to mark the exhibits.
All right, we have the application as A1, site plan as A2. There was a reasons for the request of relief, which is in response to questions 3 and 7 of the application. That's A3. Impervious surface breakdown calculation, that's A4. B1, proof of publication, B2, proof of posting, and B3 is the notice to the neighbors.
Okay, why don't you tell us what you're looking to do?
Sure. We're looking to increase our patio size as well as include a pad for a hot tub, which would then include a fence around the yard that meets the requirements for the height of a fence for a hot tub in the property, and then installing an infiltration trench to make up for the additional impervious surface.
Has everyone reviewed this? Do you have questions?
Given a question on the fence here, it's hard to tell because we don't have that information here, and maybe Jim can answer this. Are there any easements that would impact fence location? Do you have drainage that runs through the property that needs to be maintained? No.
I will have to check the recorded plan just to verify that. I believe their survey does not show that.
Yeah, and we had done an application for a fence previously, but it was a 4-foot split rail fence. So we're replacing that fence with this new fence.
Yeah, understood, but if it's a 6-foot fence and you're bringing it down to the ground, that does have other implication, other effects than you would have with the split rail fence. So that's why I was asking the question.
Okay.
Are his numbers correct, Jim?
Yes, and I believe that this application, they're going beyond what is required of our stormwater management ordinance, and they're bringing it down to an effective impervious surface rate of 18%.
Next question, here. What's the general grading for, since you don't have it, I don't see a topographic map in your packet here. What's the general lay of the land going behind the house there?
Yeah, it's relatively flat. The lowest corner is the corner where I put the infiltration trench area. So I would say that's the lowest part, but it's really, from the house, it slopes slightly, and then it's relatively flat from that point forward. If you want me to point it out, I can on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Take a microphone to the top.
I would say from the patio where it ends now, there's a slight slope here and there's a slight slope down here, but then pretty much this entire area is relatively flat. And the properties behind it are about the same elevation. So from the street down, the street is the highest and then it slopes back towards the back of the house.
And your infiltration trench is at the lowest spot in the yard, I'm assuming?
Right here, yeah. Mhm.
Any other questions? Any public comment? Anyone online for public comment?
Hey, Dave, is there any public comment?
Please check.
Okay.
No public comment.
I mean, do we want to make a subject to a plan? He's checking on the fence. Was this the appeal where the adult children have moved back home?
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry.
It's a revolving door.
Me too, since COVID, sorry.
We try to be empty nesters, but it's not working yet.
Right, I know. I hear you.
Yes.
I think this is our first hot tub without a pool since COVID.
And I am understanding the regulation, right? You need a fence in the backyard to put the hot tub in.
That is correct. And I did pull up the original survey for the property, and there are no easements on that lot.
Make a motion to approve appeal number 21-1928. Inclusive of the mitigating the increase the impervious area to 22.2%, with remediation back to 18% as submitted, and including installation of the fence. No, actually, it's not true. It doesn't need to be in there.
A second.
Minus the fence.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, keep building.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I missed that last part though about the fence. Did you say not the fence or?
You're fine.
You're fine.
Okay, all right. All right.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
It's not part of the
It's just a part of it.
variance, right, yeah.
All
Mhm.
right, thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night. Okay, we're gonna call appeal 21-1929, Eric Jaffe or Jaff? Jaffe, okay. Okay, I'm gonna ask you to state your name. You're gonna get sworn in and then we're gonna mark the exhibits, okay?
Eric Jaffe?
Okay, was that Jamie? Okay, yeah.
Jamie, Jeff,
Jaime.
Jamie.
Okay. Yep.
It's on the electric.
All right, I'll just mark the exhibits quickly. Application A1, site plan A2, proof of publication B1, proof of posting B2, and B3, notice to the neighbors.
And do you have a contractor with you?
Yeah, we have a contractor on the Zoom.
Oh, okay. And you want to state your name for the record, sir?
Sure. Colin Craig, Craige.
Okay, and hold on, just so we can swear you in.
Sure,
You solemnly swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay, somebody want to tell us what's going on? I don't know if you want to defer to your contractor or whether you want to.
Colin, you want to take this?
Sure, I'll start.
Okay.
So we are seeking a variance for the setback from currently at 50 feet to 35 feet for this proposed one-story addition. If you guys will look at, I'm sorry, I'm not sure which exhibit it is. I don't have it in front of me, but the plot plan provided, or the survey, I should say.
Okay.
So basically, when working with the Jaffes and designing this, we're pretty limited by our existing building envelope, as you can see. It's basically right up against that back right corner of their home due to the odd shaped lot being that it is a corner lot. So we're seeking the relief of the hardship of the irregular lot in hopes that we can get this extra 15 feet to accommodate the Jaffes for this proposed building so they can, get this additional living space for their family. Nowadays, a lot of people are spending more time at home, so they want to go ahead and build this proposed structure. And that's why we're here today in front of you guys.
I have two questions. The first one's going to be to Jim. What's the impervious coverage permitted on this property?
I would have to check that out.
I believe according to the survey, it says 27%.
Is that current?
And I believe that is accurate.
One question here about the placement of the addition.
Sure.
If it was shifted to the, starting from the west corner, going along the north, you would not be seeking as much relief from the setback?
Potentially not as much, but from a design and functionality aspect, this is the preferred location, and a lot of people, because it's hard to tell from the plan since you don't have the layout of their home, but this kind of flows nicely right from their living space and their kitchen area, so they can entertain. So this is the preferred location, and we figured the most seamless as far as not appearing to be an addition. Also, when designing this with the architect, if you're familiar with the property, or you can kind of see on the plan to the right, there's a 10-foot wide pedestrian easement So this will give them, a little more coverage to the left of the new addition, as far as a little more privacy into their backyard. So that was the thought process when developing this with our architect.
And to that point, Collins was exactly correct, but it would also put us right up against the neighbor's yard.
Correct, to the left.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I may, also the impervious surface that's permitted on this lot is 30%. The 27% was what was permitted by the builder at the time of construction, with an additional 3% allowed by the homeowner, which is now you. Therefore, 30% is the number.
And just to add to that, we would be at a total of 24.5 after the addition.
Matt, do you have any questions before I ask for public comment?
No, that's for.
Okay. Go ahead.
I realize we marked the site plans, but we'll do the floor plans as A3 since it's a little different.
Did you hear that, Mr. Craig?
I did.
Okay. Is there any public comment?
Yeah, we have a letter from our neighbor exactly next door saying they're supportive of what we're trying to do. So,
Put it in our submission?
Generally, we don't do letters.
Okay.
Okay.
No public.
No
comment.
public comment. Okay. Barbara, are you?
I am not.
Okay.
I'm here for your number 5 that we had to pass over because he didn't answer the call.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't have any questions. Does anyone, Matt, do you have any questions?
No, I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Okay.
All right. You want
Make a motion to approve Appeal 21-1929 as written.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 thank you very much, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we are going to have a good night, guys. Happy
Yeah.
building.
Thank you.
We're going to call appeal number 21-1927, James Moak. Is he on? He's not on. So what do we do?
You can continue it.
Decline it?
Well, I was going to ask the board to deny it. I mean, he was present at the last hearing of August 17th. Board had extensive conversations with him about where to alter and modify the proposed addition. He was present when you carried this till September 17th, so it's not like he didn't know about it. And he should have notified the township if he was going to modify the plans that wouldn't require the variance.
So he has not gotten back to us, Jim?
Not to my knowledge.
I would agree with Barb. He hasn't.
I do, and if it's a completely revised plan, and they could resubmit anyways on the revised plan.
At another fee of $750, right?
But the board said to him, if you modify it, you don't have to come back to the hearing because you're going to meet, you can do it in such a way that wouldn't require variances. So if he's not here,
Well, he would still need a variance. He was requesting 2 variances, one for the setback. I think he was at 19.7, taking it down to 11.10, and 45 is required. But he also had the impervious, and I don't think the impervious is going to change. I think it was just, it would mean he would need less relief.
How about, can we deny it without prejudice? Is that something the board has authority to do? In other words, can we deny it without prejudice? If he comes back and says, I have, then we reopen it, but otherwise we just deny it.
Well, no, generally speaking, when you deny it,
We have 30 days usually.
he can either appeal the denial or he can resubmit. It's always available under the law that you can resubmit. an
yeah, and
application.
if he's changing it, he couldn't submit, yeah, if you submit the same exact thing, that's more problematic. If you're submitting something different, then it's kind kind of skirts that issue.
I can't imagine he's going to resubmit the same one.
Right.
And if Jim hasn't heard from him and we haven't had a package back in.
There's no, the only thing, yeah, and I don't think we have public comment on this. There were two neighbors that came, but that was for the Jennings matter. And if we don't have public comment on this, then that part of it's resolved as well. So you could either continue it for a couple weeks or vote on it on the merits. Up to you.
Well, I don't think we can vote on the merits if he's not here to testify.
There, so-
Oh,
If you're denying it, you're essentially voting it on the merits. If you're dismissing it, that would be something else.
Make a motion to dismiss 21-1927.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. it's dismissed.
Do we have time to work on Jennings or the other exciting?
Or it could be done.
Get everybody in and do an hour and a half of testimony tonight yet.
Just want to announce our next meeting, the special one.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
still
we have a
seven-
special
still
meeting,
7:30 though, right?
7:30, September 29th. I don't have the appeal number though. Oh, I do have it here.
1906, I think.
Yes.
The deck appeal.
1906. Yep.
And that meeting is a Wednesday evening, the 29th,
It's a special meeting for only that appeal
correct.
That's
at 7:30. Okay. Any other business? And then our next regular is October 5th?
5th.
Yes.
Okay, so do we?
Motion to
need a
adjourn?
motion? Yeah, motion to adjourn. Second, all those in favor?
Second. Aye.
Aye. All right, have a good night.
Good night.